Hi, I'm Will Paterson, and I paid 5 designers on Fiverr to design a logo from the same brief, and the best one moves on to getting it animated from people on Fiverr. Many gigs this time. Now, the logo that they're going to be designing is for a company that's fake called Creatia. This is a canned drink company. It's like an energy drink, but it's for creatives, so it's for designers. I thought I would give them something really weird to try and design to see what they would come up with. One of the unique selling points for Creatia is that you get 20% less revisions when using it. So your performance is so high, 20% less revisions. Obviously, we're just joking, but if someone could create a product like this, let me know. Creatia is targeted at 18 to 34-year-olds who are either full-time creatives in a design agency, maybe they're a graphic designer, a music producer, or students who are doing creative work. The full brief will either be on the screen or in the description. The first designer is mynameiismud, and he was $95. Okay, so first impressions, the vector file, it's all here. It's very different to what I expected it to be, and I love the colors. First of all, I like the energy that you've got in here. It's kind of zapping, but there's a few things that stand out to me that don't work very well. Obviously, it looks boring for a drinks company. If you look at any other company that's a competitor to Creatia, you'll see that their drinks are very ornate. They've got a lot of things going on inside them, lots of design elements, lots of illustrations, and that's to spark the eye. Now, for instance, Creatia here, there's no real creative element in there. This looks like the run-of-the-mill sort of creative energy drink, or just an energy drink. You've got this icon at the top here, and I guess it works, but in small scales, it's very difficult to see because it's not very balanced. And, you know, part of my job is to critique people's work on this channel, so I'm going full ham on critiquing. So the icon doesn't work very well, but what I do like is the act of motion in there. So you've got this sort of feeling that it's moving, but again, it's not really what I was thinking. Also, the typography that you've got down here, I think this is custom typography. It's very difficult to read at small scales because the tracking, which is the space in between all the letters, are quite close together, and you've also added these serifs. Now, I know why you added these. It's because you wanted to get that, you know, edgy feel. Now, the colors, you've got like the orange and the green. We did say to them that we don't have a brand color. You feel free to choose one for us. I don't know how I feel about the colors, but he also has sent in a PDF. So here's a PDF, and hopefully this will give us a bit more clarity into his decisions. Okay, so we've got like the logo brief stuff here, the concept. It's very lime green. We've got a lot of green going on with like accents of orange. You've given us a mock-up. One thing that I'm not happy with is the presentation that's coming at me right now. I would like to see more mock-ups and better packaging, if I'm honest. One thing I do like is the fact that you've given the mock-ups. I would like to see the logo to be a bit more full front in the actual product. We have a lot of like negative space going on here, or should I say white space. So there's an imbalance here. We've got the full logo here. In one of these, you can see that the logo is really big. Some of them are smaller, and there's no consistency through this. So that was $95. The next one is Daniela for $185. Let's see how she did. Okay, so we've got a completely different look in the design. First of all, I like the legibility is better on this one. I can actually read it. The logo type itself is in conjunction with the icon. So you've got the icon as the C. Now, if we move over from the actual logo preview to this part here, this is more the explanation of the design. So C, the letter, as we can see up here, we've got a chemical bottle and a light bulb idea. So you've actually done what a lot of designers do, which is to take a few elements, a few keywords or a few visual elements, and shove them together into a cool shape. And this is what we're left with. So first impressions of the actual icon itself, you know, in the middle, it kind of looks like Swiss cheese. But I can see where you're coming for this. It looks unique. I've not seen a design like this. As well as that, I was going to say it looks like really, you know, not like an energy drink, but because this is such a unique sort of brief, I can't really blame anyone. We haven't given that much direction in visual aids for this. We haven't been able to give them a mood board or anything. The color palette was based on a space theme, as I wanted to add an additional reference to creativity and let it be seen in the color palette that through Creatia we could take our creativity to unimaginable levels as big as outer space. So what I do like is the fact that you're explaining a lot more. I feel like in your presentation you're showing things better, you're explaining it more, and I love the way that you sold the color to me, because I didn't know what color I wanted. I just said, you know, choose whatever you want, and you actually sold the color to me, so that's great. What I like is the logo type. I don't really like the icon very much, and the reason being is, to me, it kind of looks like cheese or Swiss cheese because of the color that you've chosen, which is this gold, and I think it works really well, the gold on top of this purple background. It kind of gives it that royal feeling, and plus I think I prefer the actual logo type to be just this one word and the icon to the left or even at the top. When it's not like this, and you can see it down here in normal space, when you use the icon as the C, then it just looks like rear tier. Also, this is a very minimal design, so it'll be interesting to see how it'll look on the actual product. Okay, so here we are. Great mock-ups going on here. I like the can. It looks really nice, really well done to present me. You've chosen a can and you've gone vertical this time, and that makes a lot more sense. Prior to this, in the last from My Name is Mud, we saw that the logo was really long, so they couldn't fit it onto the can in a horizontal axis, so they went ahead and made the icon really big. But here you've actually chosen to use function better. You've functioned it better. Is that a word? That's not even a sentence. You've chosen the model of the can and you've put the design onto the can in the best way possible without making it unimaginably small or too big. Now, the question that I'm going to ask myself when I'm critiquing these is, would I buy this drink? And unfortunately for this one, I wouldn't. I would probably walk past it. It looks simply like an energy drink. Other than that, I think the design itself could have a few things better in it. You could actually make it a bit more illustrative, or you could go the other route and just surprise me by going full on minimal. Remember, this is for creative professionals, so the standard for good work is really high in these drinks. We're trying to wow designers. The next one is kayaks at $250. Let's see how they did. This is completely different. Again, you've chosen like purples, which I like. I love the way that the logo type is a bit more playful. I like that. What I like is the concept of the icon. I think if you had more time, because we don't really give much time for these, you would actually see this icon look better than what it is. It kind of looks right now that the lightning bolt is superimposed. Now, the logo type itself looks really nice. I like the typeface that you've chosen. It looks more like a professional gaming font, you know, that you see on those gaming videos. Color palette, really, really bright. I like that a lot. And this mock-up is out of this world. You have done super well presenting this. Now, I think the icon itself, there's a few things you could work on here. I think if you just fixed this part here, it would be so much better. So that's concept number one, and you've given two concepts here, which is crazy. I didn't even realize. So this is a graffiti version, and again, you've got a great mock-up, but this doesn't go to the target market, 18 to 34-year-olds in creative practices. You know, if they're in a creative industry, would they drink this? I don't think so. Although I do like the idea of it for like a different kind of energy drink. It just cheapens it. It's not what I think a creative elixir would be. But again, this one's got to be like one of my favorites so far. I really like how clean. I like the colors. It looks really bright, vibrant. The next one for $250 again is FTMOV. So you've chosen a similar logo design to the first guy. That's odd. Okay, so the logo doesn't make much sense at the moment. So the letter C, the bolt of energy. Ooh, there seems to be something happening here. A lot of designers are going for that bolt of energy. A rocket boost. I think this is a perfect example of like working too much. So putting too much into a design makes it so abstract that it makes no sense. What I think would have done better is just having this rocket icon. That would work so much better, because right now it looks way too abstract. Although what I will say is that this design here, I'm actually loving this mock-up. It's orange, it's bright, but again, it's just the logo on top of the can. So there's nothing else there for me, it just looks like an orange can, like orange soda. So although I like the logo type that you've got going on here, some bits I would change. You know, the R looks a bit strange. I think you should have gone for the rocket boost one here. The last person for $435, which is the highest priced logo of this film, is Evan Holm. I believe I'm saying that right. Before I check this last one out, the whole goal of this video is for me to pick the best one to go on and be animated. We may do something with it later in the future. We'll be doing the same thing, so we'll be picking 5 animators on Fiverr to do this. Creator, brand the profile. So we've got a color palette here. We haven't seen the logo design yet. So you've chosen this sort of, I guess, sunset color palette. And down here, it says typography, but okay. I'm a bit confused right here. Okay, I got a bit confused by the presentation for a second there, but now I'm understanding it now. This is the font that you've used for the logo. I'm not a fan. You don't really want it to be like this. I mean, it could work in some situations, but there's too many breaking points in here, in my opinion. It's just not really well-rounded typeface. The M is completely different to the other characters, you know, there's a lot of inconsistencies. So this typeface is modern, energetic, and readable. I would not agree with the readable part, that it's very difficult to read, especially at small scales, but it is definitely energetic. I'll give it that. Okay, so logo choice number 1. So we have one of these boiling pots that we use with another lightning bolt in. You know, people are going full force on the energy drink. I've not seen anything to do with like creative professionals yet, or the fact that you get like 20% less revisions. I don't know if that's just being ignored. I don't know. Maybe they just found the brief a bit too crazy. Okay, so we've got Elixir and Thunder. The idea comes from creators' magic elixir concept fused with the thunder, which symbolizes speed, power, and energy. You've presented this very well. So one of the things that I would say about this design to make it better, the line weight of the icon is way too thin comparative to the line weight of the typography. You want them to be kind of similar. Otherwise, it looks like 2 separate things. Even though they are, you want them to be cohesive though on the packaging. The logo itself, the icon, it can work. I think there's a lot going on in there. If you just had the lightning bolt cut out, there would be a lot less detail. So if the actual bowl of it was just filled in and then you cut the lightning bolt out of it, it would be better. But I do like the idea of this energy drink here. Now this is actually what I was looking for someone to create in this mock-up. The packaging has got a lot to do with this one. What I like is the Scandinavian type design that you've got here. So the actual type composition and the layout is very much geared towards creative professionals. It looks very minimal and I like that. I'm glad that you went for that. I like these mock-ups as well. The only thing is up here we've got like the logo. It's not big enough to attract people's attentions, and that might just be me being the form and function police. But what I do like is this one up here, the energy drink, the creator down there. I think this looks really nice. I think you've chosen a really good layout for this. This is by far my favorite layout so far. This is what I was thinking in my mind that I would do. The mock-ups look good. But again, we've got a lot of like white space around here. It's really important to have imagery on there. And I see what you've done here. But unfortunately, because you've centered the icon with the logo type, so that's center justified, everything else being left justified means that it seems like 2 different pieces of artwork. It doesn't seem as cohesive throughout. But what I do say is I really like the bit at the bottom. So looking at the logo itself, it didn't really make much sense. It seemed a bit too playful and a bit too, you know, relaxed. But seeing the sort of juxtaposition between the Scandinavian design for the label tag design at the bottom actually gives it that more playful feel as well. Do I think the logo would be better with a better, you know, cleaner typeface? Yes, 100%. But I think I'm going to choose this design, not because it's most expensive, but because it's closer to what I think is more appropriate for this sort of drink. We wanted it to be a crazy drink, and you got that. So I'm going to choose this design to be animated, and let's see what happens. So I'll see you in a couple of days.
Several days later.
Okay, so it's been like a week or just over a week, and we chose the favorite logo. Now it was time to send it to the animators. So the animators have done their thing, and we have got the animations back to review. The first one was Cyan Cube, and he was $50. Just like every other order, we've given them a brief, but we've allowed them to do nearly whatever they want. We just want to see their thoughts and opinions. It's not a real, per se, project. Okay. So there's no sound on this one. I don't think he's got music. What I like about this is the way that the icon is revealed in. That makes the icon look so much better than it actually does in the ending of it. I don't know if you see it, like there. That looks cool. That would be a great logo right there. So I could go back and ask them to change that if I want to. I like the animations, the fact that it's so fluid. Again, it is just a logo reveal. I was expecting something, you know, in the background to happen. There's just not much. It seems very linear, but that first little bit there, boom. I really like that. That works really well for me. Again, the logo isn't the best one out there. It's not what I would have done, certainly, but $50, this animation, I would say, is pretty worth it just to get an idea of a nice logo reveal. And the second one is visimatic, $150. Let's see what he did. Okay, I really like that. That's cool. That's a bit different. That's more of what I was expecting when it comes to an energy drink for creatives. You can really feel the energy when it pops up. You've got all the lightning bolts happening in there. There's a bit more happening in the background as well. And he's added music in there, which, you know, this cool little guitar, little jingle. I kind of like that. I want to sort of like stop it all the way through because I think the actual animation works super well. It just shows that it's electric and charged. I'm not too sure about the type animation as it comes in, but for a logo reveal, this works super well. And it might just be me, but there could be some more motion blur in there because it kind of seems very static right now. But I like the energy, the flashes of light in there, really does show movement. So I believe that was a noticeable difference and a bit of an improvement from the last one for $50. The next one is sergiymoroz, all the way from Ukraine. They are $190. Let's see what they did. Oh wow, this guy has actually sent over a few animations, which is better than what I was expecting. So here's number one. So very simple, it just rocks into the screen. Just a very simple one. Let's see number two. Okay, a bit of a difference there. So this is actually like the can coming in and then transforming into the elixir, which I think, you know, it's a good idea. So for $190, we got a more minimal animation. There was not much going on. It was just a simple logo reveal. I would have loved to see something a bit more, you know, exciting, something a bit more bright and, you know, punchy, because it is an energy drink brand and we wanted to get that across in the animation. But I must say that the animations there were smooth. You'll notice as we go along that the animations from different people are going to be different all the way through. We've given them so much creative license to do what they want. We haven't actually given them a specific brief of what we exactly intend to do with these animations. The next one is vitorgrr. I think I'm saying that right. For $330. Let's see what they did. Oh, wow. Oh, that really looks elixiry. Oh, wow. That is a completely different animation than what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be another one of those normal logo reveals, but no, this is actually completely different. Check that out. It's like glowing. You can see the elixir inside it. I like the fact that you've taken the concept and you've actually added the animations to do that. You know, you've used your creativity, but you've also stayed in line. Look, you can see the energy inside of the elixir. Even that animation of the lightning bolt just plummeting into the elixir is cool. I like the fact that you can really feel the weight of the animation here. It seems a bit more professional, a bit more upmarket. It actually fits the brief better. It fits the culture of the company that we're creating there, Creatia, which is the elixir of creatives to bring energy. There's so much detail inside here. You can see the lightning bolt when it comes in, like so. You can actually see all the lightning happening. Just seems like a lot of movement, so I really like this. Well done. The last one, the most expensive one too, is motiongrapherr. She was $400, and let's see what she did. Okay. Wow. That's certainly bright. That's killing my eyes. What I will say is that I really like the jumpy animations here. This is a bit more playful. I like it. It's a bit more minimal. You haven't used as many assets as vitorgrr. It feels very smooth. I like the way that the elixir is just popping. You got flashes of color, which is all about, you know, the lightning bolt, you know, the energy. With an animation, you want to see high energy, and I think you got that here. You've got the main icon in the center of the frame as well, which is really good. If this could just be the icon, it would be so much better because it looks just really good here. And I like the way that it's all animated in. You've really taken your time with this. It looks professional. I don't know which one's my favorite. I'm gonna have to say that the last one is my favorite because it hits the nail in the head. It's not like overly crazy and it's not underwhelming. It is completely just what it should be in my books. Would I do anything different? Personally, I would like to see some other things happening in the background of this. Maybe some like patterns or lines. There's no messing around here. I like the fact that the elixir, the actual icon, is center of the stage, and it is the biggest visual representation of the brand. It really does tell a story about what it is, and I like that. And it does it all in under what, like 5 seconds. So I think it's between motiongrapherr and vitorgrr, the last two that we saw there. I think those two are the best ones that we've seen out of the lot. So it does show that the more you spend, the better you'll get, because the more time they can spend on it, and also maybe the more professional they actually are at it. After ordering the animations, we had a tiny bit of money left in our Fiverr account, so we went ahead and wanted to get some little jingles made for us. No brand intro is complete without a jingle. Maybe we should have one for ours.
We'll review your logos, we'll review your logos.
So we bought a jingle from Tazzy for $60. Let's see what it sounds like. So apparently Tazzy actually put the jingle on motiongrapherr's animation. Creator. No way. It's quite cheesy, I'll be honest. Obviously, I think it's a bit cheesy for what it is, but it makes sense, you know. I can't believe that. I just was not expecting that. I'm not laughing at it in a nasty way. I just wasn't expecting someone to say the name of like the company. Dude, that's really cool. We bought a second jingle from a guy called silviobrioschi, and he was $100. Interestingly, we've used him before on one of our last projects for Mindscape. I like that. Silvio did the jingle for our other favorite one for $100. Let's see what he did. Okay, so he certainly got the electricity part in there. Very energetic. I like that. I like the beat a bit better. I think it's a bit darker, a bit more alternative. Certainly not cheesy. I like the tinging off a glass. That's cool. There's not much I can really say aside from, yeah, that's cool. I can hear like the juice inside the elixir, which is kind of, I don't know what that is. You know when you hear someone chewing and you hate the sound of someone chewing? Kind of reminds me of that. But overall, the beat is really nice. I think this fits more with Creator than the first one, I'll be honest. Not cheesy, not saying that the first one was bad. It's just not, I don't think it was the right vibe. I hate that word. But that's not for me to decide. In reality, you guys are going to be making all the decisions. So go ahead and let me know in the comments below which of all the things that you liked and which one was your favorites. I think it's really cool that you can get all of this from like, you know, one platform. If you sell on Fiverr or do anything like that, leave a comment with your name so we can have a look at your work for any future videos. And if you haven't already, press the red subscribe button. We make videos all the time, twice a week. So subscribe and check out all the links for the sellers in the description below. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye. Thanks to Fiverr for sponsoring this video. Use code WILL10 for 10% off your next order.